Is James Delaney in league with the devil? I don't think so. Now you may be saying, but wait a minute, James is vicious. He is a savage. We've also heard James make comments about his League of the Damned and how he will only use them for what they're useful for and then will leave them. When Godfrey says to James, but you're putting those around you in danger also, James's attitude is, I don't have anybody around me who doesn't deserve what they get. So we do see a real abrasive, a real cutthroat type attitude from James. But I highly disagree that James is in league with the devil. James' motivations are in no way evil or ill-intended towards others. James' motivation is to take care of himself and the one he loves, Zilpha. I think one of the lines that we could really learn a lot about James from is in the second episode when he's talking to Atticus, and Atticus asks him, what's the smallest thing you saw in Africa? And James's reply to Atticus is human kindness. So we get from this, we see that James, this past 10 years while he's been missing, has not been treated well. He has been in a savage world, in all likelihood, fighting for his survival. And knowing this, we can look at James and see where his hardcore attitude comes from. He knows that he needs to protect himself from his experiences in the past, and ever since he's arrived back at London, he has been under threat. Literally, his life has been under threat. So James is really just reacting to his environment and making sure he takes care of himself. The people that he's gutted have been a major threat to him. When we see one of his merry men was thinking about possibly ratting on James and letting the East India Company know where he was storing the saltpeter, James cuts his thumb off. Now again, quite a radical move, but it was fitting. James could have killed him in like 2 seconds, but he didn't. And so we can find justification for his actions because he is protecting himself. His past experiences have taught him that we live in a dog-eat-dog world, and there are threats on him right now. But beyond that, we also see actions that shows that James is actually a compassionate, sympathetic person. You see this the most when you watch James interact with the women in the show. James has and shows a high deal of respect for all the women in the show. We see him do it with Lorna. He does eventually invite Lorna into the house. He gets Lorna flowers. He tells Lorna, I'll take care of your leaky roof. When Lorna is there during the duel, he tells Lorna where to stand so she'll be safe. We see it in Helga. When James asks Helga about Winter and about the silver-toothed man who is after him, he tells Helga, I see kindness in you. When he asks for Helga's help, he doesn't insist that she helps him. He just tells her that I would prefer if you worked with me. And of course, we see the same thing with Zilpha. What you can really see with James's relationship to Zilpha is how differently James treats Zilpha than Thorn. James is very confident that him and Zilpha belong together, but he does not treat Zilpha as property or an object the way Thorn does. He expresses his feelings to Zilpha, but he does it in a way that he realizes he has to accept her free will, and he has to wait for her to decide to be with him. Even beyond the women in the show, we see James treat people with decency all the time. Now, when Atticus tells James that it is Thorn that came to him to have Horace killed, Atticus asks James, do you want Thorn in the river? And James says no, Thorn will fall in the river of his own accord. And then at the duel, when James has a chance to take Thorn out, legally and understandably, he doesn't do it. James's actions that we would consider evil and harsh, quite frankly, are just keeping up with the world around him. The biggest difference between James and the rest of the people in his world is James does not hide who he is or what he does. The civilized people in the show, they hide the evil things that they do, as we saw in the end of episode 5 when Sir Stuart tells Wilton, and then I will tell you what papers to start burning. They hide behind their place in society, whereas James does not hide who he is. So James is not in league with the devil at all. And quite frankly, James is a hero. They let us know James is a hero right from the opening of this series. What color is the horse that James rides around town in? It's a white horse. We don't see any other white horses in this series. This is not a coincidence. James is a hero. Don't be afraid to like the video if you did. If you have any friends that watch Taboo, go ahead and share the video with them. It'll give you something to talk about. If you want to make sure you catch all of our videos on Taboo, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, and you will be notified every time we upload one. You have a great day.